Hello everyone, you're very welcome to this episode of Universal Design for Learning. In this episode we're going to look at two technology usage models. One is called the TAM or TAM and the other is the UTAUT. So these are models you would commonly find in information systems research, in psychology, in computer studies, in sociology to a certain extent. So first is the Technology Acceptance Model, or the TAM, developed in 1989 by Fred Davis. A very significant paper. The Technology Acceptance Model is one of the most cited articles in all of kind of management science, and Davis is referred to often as one of the world's most influential researchers in terms of management and things like that. So his model of technology is quite simple. People are likely to use technology if there's two factors in place. One he calls perceived usefulness, the other he calls perceived ease of use. The first one, the perceived usefulness, is the degree to which a person thinks using this new technology will help them in their job performance. And the perceived ease of use is the degree to which they think learning the new technology will be easy to do. I mentioned on the first week that the idea of technology, I would see it as low-tech, high-tech and medium-tech. I see anything as technology, including teaching. So if we replace the word technology with teaching and consider these two factors, the perceived usefulness of a particular type of teaching. How useful is it to learn this particular topic? And how do we make it explicit to the students that this topic is very useful both for their career as a student and indeed for their career as a graduate? Then that can have a significant impact on how much they take it in, and equally as well the perceived ease of use. So how easy do the students think it will be to learn this particular topic? And again, if we emphasize in our teaching and highlight how easy it is going to be to learn this and identify ways of motivating the students to learn this content, it will almost ensure more strongly that the students will accept this teaching and learn it more effectively. So the TAM in total is how people use a new technology is based on their intention to use the new technology, and that is in turn based on, as we said, the perceived usefulness, how useful they think this will be for their career, and the perceived ease of use. And we'll note that the ease of use, how easy they think it is to learn this new technology, impacts both the intention to use but also how important they think it is. So if they think it's hard to learn, it will diminish how important they believe the technology is. Whereas if they think it's easy to learn, they will see it as very important for their career. So that's an interesting perspective that Davis uncovered. And just to give you an example or to show how to measure these two metrics, the perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. This is from Davis's 89 paper, and it's a 10-item scale for the perceived usefulness of a particular piece of technology. So the technology he chose is email, and asks questions like, using email improves my productivity, my job performance, helps me accomplish what wouldn't be possible. So if we replace email with teaching or a particular topic, then we can see how incredibly useful that might be for teaching. The other 10-item scale is for perceived ease of use. And again, if we change email or electronic mail system to my learning, interacting with my learning is often frustrating. It's easy to remember how to perform tasks in my learning. Interacting with my learning requires a lot of mental effort. So it would be possible to create a teaching version of these two questionnaires that we could call the Teaching Acceptance Model. But nonetheless, the concept I think is very strong. The two key ideas being that students or employees or people will accept technology or teaching based on two factors: how important they perceive it is to their job or their career, and then how easy they think it is to learn it. Just to mention the fact that there are multiple other models about technology acceptance that I'm not going to go into in this particular video, and some of them precede the TAM, but most of them succeed the TAM. The theory of reasoned action, the theory of planned behaviour, the decomposed theory of planned behaviour, diffusion of innovations theory, the innovation diffusion theory, social cognitive theory, the motivation model, the model of PC utilization, which is very old-fashioned now, the MPT, the matching person with technology, which is Marcia Shearer's instrument to assess how likely it is someone will use a piece of technology. Typically with these instruments, the success rate can be middling, something like 60, 70, 80% for good ones. The MPT is 100%. It is always accurate. It successfully predicts how likely someone is to use technology every time. So it's really an excellent model. Close in second place is the Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology model, the UTAUT, which, as we said, is the second model we'll look at. So the UTAUT was created by Venkatesh et al. In 2003, and it's a model that is intended to succeed the TAM, and indeed if you look at the list of authors, Venkatesh, Morris, Davis, and Davis, yes, it's Fred Davis again, creator of the TAM, and in MIS Quarterly, the 2003 issue, we have user acceptance of information technology towards a unified view. So the TAM renames the two key components we discussed already, and calls the first one performance expectancy, the degree to which an individual believes that using the system will help them in their job, and they rename ease of use to effort expectancy, the degree associated with the use of the system, degree of ease. So that's our first two. They add in two further characteristics. One is social influence, the degree to which an individual perceives that it's important and that others believe they should use the new system. And then the other thing is facilitating conditions, the degree to which an individual believes that the organisation and technical infrastructure exists to support the use of this new technology. So if we just back up again and consider this from a teaching point of view, 4 key dimensions that might help in our teaching are the degree to which the student believes the content is relevant, the degree to which they believe the content will be easy to learn, the influence of other people and the student's perception that others think it's important and others are learning it, and the facilitating conditions, the environment in which all of this occurs. Is it in a virtual learning environment? Does that help the learning or hinder the learning? So, or is it in a physical laboratory space? What kind of environment is it in, and does that help or hinder? So the UTAUT model, same as TAM, ends with usage behaviour. Intention of use or behaviour intention, same thing, is before that. And our 4 key candidates, performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence and facilitating conditions, govern those. Now the UTAUT extends the TAM in one other way as well. Up to that point it looks quite similar, but it also identifies characteristics of individuals that are likely to use the technology on the basis of certain characteristics. Not only that, but on the basis of the 4 dimensions we've already explored. So gender has a big impact on performance expectancy, effort expectancy, and social influence. Age has a big impact on performance expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions. Experience has an impact on effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions. And the voluntariness of use of something, whether I'm doing this because I want to or I don't, has a big impact on social influence. So this is your classic UTAUT model. We have the dimensions, but we note that the dimensions are mediated, ameliorated, changed by these factors: gender, age, experience, and voluntariness of use. So I would like to consider these as being important in universal design for learning. I think we should always ensure gender is covered. So if we keep giving examples of males, Alan Turing did this, Charles Babbage did that, Bill Gates invented this, that is possibly alienating 50% plus of the class. So to say Ada Lovelace did this, Susan Dare did that, and identify a range of exemplars of people who do really important stuff, age as well, to ensure we're teaching to a range of ages and we're not discriminating anybody age-wise. Experience, So some students are going to be profoundly equipped already, whatever we're teaching. Some of them know it already, some of them don't. So can we create an environment in which those who know these things already aren't put off or bored because maybe we've additional content that they can play around with, or different examples, or some other way to keep them amused or entertained. And clearly, voluntary of usefulness, I would see that as highly related to whether you're internally motivated, intrinsically motivated, or externally motivated, extrinsically motivated. So if I'm volunteering to be in this course or volunteering to do this learning, that helps a lot in terms of my motivation. So we need to be take into account or get some idea of are the students being forced to be here? If they're being forced to be here, what can we do to motivate them? It strikes me it relates as well to the idea of grit as well. We mentioned it before, research by Angela Lee Duckworth and people like that. Fixed versus growth mindsets as well. These ideas to me tie in nicely with the idea of voluntariness of using the technology, or in this case using the teaching. So we should think about those and ensure we account for these in our models of teaching, and indeed when we're thinking about universal design for learning. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next episode.